if Alexander Isak signs for somebody? Where are we with his future?
He was pictured at the Newcastle training ground this morning, spent 3 hours inside the training ground. This is the first time that he's been there since he headed to Spain, headed to his old club Real Sociedad for a personal training camp. And this comes just over 48 hours since Newcastle rejected a bid of over £100 million from Liverpool. We understand he was in the training ground receiving treatment for a thigh injury. Newcastle do not want to sell him. They value him at £150 million.
Darwin Núñez, you told us earlier he'd scored this evening. Is that going to be his last goal for the club?
Potentially. What's actually fascinating as well, Liverpool have released their team. They're playing at 8 o'clock as well. There's 2 friendlies taking place against Athletic Club. They won the first one 4-1. Darwin Núñez scored within the first few minutes. They've named the team for the second match, and it's very clear looking at this is going to be very close to Liverpool's starting 11 for the start of the season. They take on Crystal Palace on Sunday in the Community Shield, and then Bournemouth live on Sky Sports next Friday. And Hugo Ekitike looks like he's going to be the striker for that first match. Darwin Núñez clearly already is a second choice striker at Liverpool. There's been interest from Italy. We now understand AC Milan have made initial contact with Liverpool around the signing of Darwin Núñez. They're trying to sign him. Contact has now been made between the clubs, yet to make an offer. There are other interested clubs, including Al Hilal from Saudi Arabia. We've been reporting since the start of the window that Núñez's preference would be to move to Spain or Europe rather than move further afield to somewhere like the Saudi Pro League.
I told you, I think for 2 weeks now, that Alexander Isak wants to go to Liverpool. Just to give you some context. How can you think that Alexander Isak doesn't go to train, doesn't go to pre-season tour with Newcastle without having a contract ready with Liverpool? It's quite obvious that the contract is not a problem, is not an issue. It's absolutely obvious. A player is never going to create a problem with his current club if he doesn't have already an agreement ready on the other side. So personal terms are never going to be a problem. It's never going to be a problem of salary, a problem of whatever with Liverpool. Alexander Isak wants to go to Liverpool. I keep repeating that. Alexander Isak, forget about Chelsea, forget about Arsenal, forget about United. These rumours from England are not true. Chelsea are busy with different things. Arsenal signed Gyökeres, Man United can't afford Isak. They said Al Hilal. Last week when the bomb from Alexander Isak arrived, Al Hilal working on deal for Isak. No. Al Hilal are not part of the conversation for Isak. Now it disappeared from all the reports because it's only Liverpool Football Club. For Alexander Isak, it's only Liverpool Football Club. Liverpool are ready to bid. Liverpool are ready to make a record bid. Liverpool are ready to go for it. But waiting for Newcastle to call and say, okay, now it's time to do it. But this obviously also depends on the Benjamin Sesko story in terms of timing.
Liverpool are now on the brink of securing Alexander Isak, as the club have submitted a significantly improved bid, reportedly in the region of £120 to £130 million, that brings them closer than ever to Newcastle United's £150 million valuation. After weeks of negotiations and speculation, sources suggest that personal terms between Isak and Liverpool have already been agreed, and the only remaining hurdle has been Newcastle's reluctance to sell without a suitable replacement. That barrier now appears to be crumbling, as Newcastle are said to be close to finalizing a deal for RB Leipzig striker Benjamin Sesko, a move that would effectively greenlight Isak's long-anticipated switch to Anfield. According to multiple reports, Newcastle have submitted a formal offer worth around £65 to £70 million for Sesko, who is open to the move and has reportedly agreed to personal terms in principle. The Magpies are pushing to wrap up the deal swiftly, knowing that time is of the essence as they prepare for the new season and look to reinvest funds from a potential Isak sale. Sesko, one of Europe's most highly rated young strikers, is seen as the ideal replacement, physically dominant, technically gifted, and already proven in both the Austrian Bundesliga and Bundesliga. The domino effect is now fully in motion. Newcastle's growing confidence in securing Sesko is what has reportedly allowed them to soften their stance on Isak, who has remained professional but is said to be interested in the move to Liverpool. Isak views the opportunity to play Champions League football under Arne Slot as a major step forward in his career, especially in a Liverpool side that's currently undergoing a tactical and generational transformation. With Darwin Núñez expected to leave and Luis Diaz already sold to Bayern Munich, Liverpool are rebuilding their front line. And Isak is viewed as the cornerstone of that next evolution. This transfer has the makings of a record-breaking deal for Liverpool and could mark one of the most high-profile Premier League moves of the summer. Sources close to the negotiations believe the final stages are imminent, with the two clubs expected to settle on a structure that includes performance-based add-ons. While Newcastle were initially firm in holding out for the full £150 million release clause, their pursuit of Sesko and the player's own openness to the move have brought negotiations to a boiling point. Federico Chiesa is now widely expected to leave Liverpool this summer, as the Italian international has fallen out of favour under Arne Slot and is actively exploring options for a return to Serie A. After a disappointing debut season at Anfield, where he made only 14 total appearances and just 6 in the Premier League, Chiesa has been left out of Liverpool's 2025 pre-season squad for the Asia Tour, a clear sign that he is not part of the club's long-term plans. The lack of minutes and a defined role in Slot's tactical system has left the former Juventus winger frustrated, and with the 2026 World Cup qualifiers looming, he is eager to reignite his form in a more familiar and stable environment. Several top Italian clubs, including Napoli, AC Milan, Inter Milan, and Roma, have expressed interest in bringing Chiesa back to Serie A. Napoli appear to be particularly serious about the move, seeing Chiesa as an ideal addition to bolster their wing play following recent changes to their forward line. A potential loan-to-buy offer or reduced permanent fee is being discussed, as Liverpool may be willing to let the player go for a fee below the £40 million they initially paid, especially if they can offload his high wages, believed to be around £120,000 a week. The pressure is also mounting from the national team side. Italy head coach Gennaro Gattuso recently stated in a press conference that Chiesa needs to play regularly to be considered for selection, sending a clear message that the winger must leave Anfield if he hopes to stay in contention for the Azzurri. Although Chiesa's agent claimed in January that he was committed to staying at Liverpool and fighting for his place, the situation has drastically changed in the months since, especially with the arrival of younger, more system-suited wide options in the Liverpool squad. Liverpool are reportedly preparing to make a move for Real Madrid forward Rodrigo if their pursuit of Newcastle striker Alexander Isak ultimately collapses. While the Reds remain fully focused on securing Isak, having submitted an improved bid worth around £130 million, they are also lining up alternative options behind the scenes. One name at the top of that list is Rodrigo, who is said to have already expressed a desire to join Liverpool over other potential suitors, including Arsenal and Paris Saint-Germain. According to recent reports from The Sun and This Is Anfield, the Brazilian winger has grown increasingly unsettled at Real Madrid due to reduced playing time and a lack of clarity over his role in Xabi Alonso's evolving system. Rodrigo's situation at Madrid has changed dramatically since the arrival of Kylian Mbappe and the emergence of young talents like Endrick and Arda Güler. His minutes have diminished significantly, particularly in key fixtures such as the Club World Cup, and he has reportedly told his camp that he would consider a summer move to a club where he can feature more regularly. Liverpool, who are in the process of reshaping their attacking line under new manager Arne Slot, see Rodrigo as a dynamic and versatile forward who could fit perfectly into their front three, especially with Luis Diaz expected to join Bayern Munich. Sources close to the negotiations suggest that Liverpool have already made informal contact with Rodrigo's representatives, exploring personal terms and gauging his interest. The player is said to be keen on the move to Anfield, with the prospect of Premier League football and a central role in Slot's new-look system proving to be strong motivators. While Real Madrid have yet to receive an official bid, they are reportedly open to selling the winger for the right price, which could be in the region of €75 million. A sum Liverpool would likely only pay if they step back from the Isak deal. Should Liverpool fail to reach a final agreement with Newcastle for Isak, who remains a priority target, the club are expected to swiftly pivot toward Rodrigo. Unlike Isak, who would serve primarily as a central striker, Rodrigo's flexibility across the front three makes him an attractive option for Slot, particularly in a system that values fluid movement and technical sharpness in wide areas. With Diaz leaving and Darwin Núñez's future still uncertain, Liverpool are in urgent need of a forward who can score goals, stretch defenses, and contribute creatively in build-up play.